The rain didn't fall gently that night. It crashed down hard, loud against the zinc roofs, flooding the streets and blurring the world into shadows and sound. Daniel stood by the window, arms folded, watching it pour, trying not to think too much, when the knock came. Soft, then a little firmer. He wasn't expecting anyone. When he opened the door, Chidi stood there, soaked through. Rainwater slid from his hair, his t-shirt clinging to his broad chest, breath uneven, like he'd been walking fast or running from something. For a second, Daniel just stared. "Sorry," Chidi said quietly. "I know it's late." Daniel shook his head. "It's okay." Chidi hesitated, glancing past him into the dim hallway. "Your parents, are they still awake?" Daniel paused, then answered softly. "They're asleep. They turned in early." Something in Chidi's shoulders loosened. Not relief exactly, but permission. "Can I come in?" he asked, lower now. Daniel stepped aside. "Yeah, come in." The door closed behind them, shutting the rain out, but leaving the tension right where it was. Inside, the house was quiet. Too quiet. The kind of quiet that makes every movement feel louder than it should. Daniel handed him a towel, their fingers brushing briefly as Chidi took it. "Thanks," Chidi murmured. He wiped his face, his hair, but his eyes kept drifting back to Daniel, like he was afraid he might disappear if he looked away too long. They sat on the couch, not touching, not far apart either. The rain filled the silence. "I didn't know where else to go," Chidi said finally. Daniel nodded. "You don't have to explain." Chidi swallowed. His voice came rough when he spoke again. "I miss you." Daniel's chest tightened. "I thought you wanted space," Daniel said. "I thought I did too," Ed admitted. "But everything's been wrong without you." He turned then, fully, facing Daniel. The dim light caught the familiar lines of his face, the strength, the vulnerability he never showed anyone else. "I tried to do what made sense," Chidi continued, "what everyone expects. But every time I'm with her, I'm thinking about you." Daniel's breath caught. "Chidi, I don't know what this means," Chidi said. "I just know I don't feel like myself unless I'm here." His hand moved without thinking, fingers brushing Daniel's wrist, slow, uncertain, asking a question without words. Daniel didn't pull away. That small touch broke everything open. Chidi leaned in carefully, giving Daniel time to stop him. Daniel didn't. Their foreheads touched first, breath mingled, then, soft, hesitant, real, their lips met. The kiss wasn't rushed, it trembled, it carried years of unsaid things, of fear and longing and relief all at once. When they pulled apart, both were breathing harder. "We shouldn't," Daniel said. "I know," Chidi said quietly, "but I don't want to keep pretending." They kissed again, deeper this time, hands finding shoulders, backs, the familiarity of friendship turning into something fragile and new. When Daniel finally rested his head against Chidi's chest, listening to his heartbeat, the house remained quiet. His parents slept, the world slept, and for one night, hidden from everything else, they allowed themselves to feel what they had been denying. For a while, it felt like the world had shifted just enough to make room for them. Nothing dramatic changed on the outside. School was still noisy, the streets still dusty, people still expected the same things. But inside, everything was different. Daniel woke the next morning with a lightness in his chest he hadn't felt in years. He moved through the day smiling at nothing, replaying the way Chidi's voice had softened the night before, the way his presence felt sure and warm. Chidi felt it too. He laughed more easily, walked taller,
found excuses to linger near Daniel, shoulder brushing shoulder, fingers grazing hands just a second longer than necessary. They didn't say much about that night. They didn't need to. It lived between them, a quiet understanding, fragile but glowing. When they studied together, Chidi leaned closer without fear. When they joked, Daniel didn't hold back his smile. It felt like discovering a secret room in a house they'd lived in all their lives. A door had opened, and for the first time, neither of them wanted to shut it. A moment of normal. They were careful, but happy. Their laughter returned, their rhythm came back. They walked home together again, sometimes brushing hands, sometimes pretending not to notice when their fingers intertwined briefly in quiet streets. Daniel noticed things he hadn't let himself notice before. The strength in Chidi's arms, the calm way he carried himself, the gentleness he reserved only for him. Chidi noticed too, Daniel's confidence when he spoke, the way his eyes softened when he smiled, how safe it felt just being near him. For a moment, it felt possible, like maybe they could find a way to exist in the space between what they were and what the world expected. Amaka noticed the change immediately, the way Chidi smiled at his phone, the way Daniel's presence no longer faded quietly into the background, the way Chidi's attention slipped, not fully, but enough. She watched, listened, observed the way they stood too close, the way silence between them didn't feel awkward, but full. She didn't confront them, not yet. Amaka wasn't impulsive, she was deliberate. Instead, she smiled like nothing was wrong, held Chidi's hand in public, laughed loudly, played her role perfectly. But her eyes lingered, and her thoughts sharpened. Chidi felt it first, the pull between happiness and fear. Every laugh with Daniel came with a shadow, every soft moment carried a question. What happens when this stops being hidden? Daniel felt it too, but differently. He was happier than he'd ever been, and more afraid. Because happiness made him careless, and careless things were easier to take away. Still, neither of them stepped back. Not yet. Because for once, the joy felt worth the risk. Amaka waited. She watched Chidi choose Daniel in small ways. She watched Daniel stop shrinking, and she decided, if she was going to lose, it wouldn't be quietly. Amaka didn't shout. She didn't accuse. She waited. Daniel was leaving school when she stopped him near the back corridor, where voices didn't carry and teachers rarely passed. "Daniel," she said calmly. He turned, already tired. "What is it?" She studied him for a moment, eyes sharp, calculating, not emotional, not angry. "You need to stay away from Chidi." Daniel frowned slightly. "That's not your decision." "It is if I make it one." Daniel felt a chill. "What are you talking about?" Amaka stepped closer, lowering her voice. "I know enough," she said. "The way you look at each other, the way he comes alive around you, the night he stopped answering my calls." Daniel's chest tightened, but he didn't speak. "If you don't step back," she continued, "people will start noticing. Teachers, parents, friends." She paused deliberately. "You know what this community does to boys like you." The words landed hard. Daniel swallowed. "You're threatening me." "I'm protecting myself," she replied, "and him, whether he knows it or not." Daniel stared at her, chest tight. "You don't even love him," he said quietly. Amaka's smile vanished. "That doesn't matter," she snapped. "What matters is that I won't be embarrassed, and I won't lose." She leaned in one last time. "So choose," she whispered. "Stay away from Chidi, or let the world decide for you." Then she walked off. Fear looks like silence. Daniel didn't tell Chidi. Not that day, not the next. He pulled back even further, colder now, guarded. When Chidi tried to talk, Daniel brushed him off. I said I needed space. But this feels different, Chidi said. Did I do something? Daniel forced distance into his voice. Please don't make this harder. Chidi walked away confused, hurt, unaware of the danger sitting quietly between them. That night, Daniel lay awake, staring at the ceiling. He knew the truth. Loving Chidi was no longer just painful, it was risky. And if staying meant destroying him, socially, publicly, completely, then leaving might be the only way to protect them both. It took time and a slip. Amaka said something she shouldn't have, a comment about people finding out, about how easy it would be to talk. Chidi froze. What do you mean by that?
She shrugged. Daniel understands. Something clicked. That night, Chidi went to Daniel's house a little past 9 o'clock. Daniel opened the door and immediately knew. Did she threaten you? Chidi asked Daniel. Daniel looked away. Why didn't you tell me? Because this isn't just about us, Daniel replied. This could ruin you. Chidi stepped closer. You don't get to decide that alone. Daniel's voice cracked. I was trying to protect you. Chidi shook his head. I don't need protection. I need honesty. Silence. Then Daniel whispered. She said she'd expose us. Chidi's jaw tightened. That was it. Something hardened in him, not fear, but resolve. Chidi met Amaka privately the next day. You threatened him, he said flatly. She didn't deny it. I warned him. That wasn't your place. I did what I had to, she snapped. You were slipping away. Chidi's voice was calm, too calm. You don't get to control people by fear. She scoffed. So, you're choosing him? I'm choosing myself, he said, and I won't pretend anymore. Her eyes flashed. If this comes out, I'll handle it, Chidi interrupted, not you. The finality in his voice stunned her. You don't scare me anymore. For the first time, Amaka realized she'd lost. Not because of love, but because control only works until someone refuses to be controlled. Daniel and Chidi didn't suddenly become fearless. The world outside their bond hadn't changed, but something between them had. Fear no longer ruled alone. Truth had joined it. And whatever came next, exposure, consequences, distance, they would face it together, not in silence, not again.